In recent years, we have seen an increasing number of conversations about racism directed toward the Indian community across different parts of the world. Whether it's in countries like Australia, Canada, the United States, or the United Kingdom, many migrants and students have shared experiences of being stereotyped, mocked, or unfairly blamed for economic and social issues. As elections approach in many of these countries, the political narrative often begins to shift. Immigration becomes a talking point, and sometimes migrants become an easy target. Certain groups are portrayed as a burden on the system, as if they are somehow responsible for housing shortages, job competition, or pressure on public services. But the reality is far more complex. Many Indian migrants and international students are not arriving as a burden on the economy. In fact, many of them come after their families invest their life savings into education abroad. Parents spend decades working, saving, and sacrificing so their children can access opportunities overseas. These students pay very high international tuition fees, visa charges, and living expenses. In countries like Australia and Canada, international education is a multi-billion-dollar industry, and students from India contribute significantly to that system. This is an important distinction that is often lost in public conversations. Some migrants arrive under humanitarian or asylum programs, which are important for protecting people fleeing conflict or persecution. Those programs are a reflection of a country's humanitarian commitments. However, many migrants from India and other parts of South Asia arrive through education and skilled migration pathways. They are essentially investing in the host country's economy, paying for education, contributing through taxes, and often filling labor shortages. The youth coming from these regions are generally hardworking and ambitious. Many work long hours while studying, contribute to industries that face worker shortages, and eventually become professionals, entrepreneurs, and taxpayers. However, we must also acknowledge something honestly. A communication and cultural gap sometimes exists between locals and immigrants. When people arrive in a new country, it takes time to understand social norms, humor, workplace culture, and everyday etiquette. Integration is a process. It doesn't happen overnight. This is why governments and institutions could consider stronger integration initiatives. Just like migrants are required to pass language tests before visas are granted, there could also be structured social orientation or cultural etiquette programs. These courses could help newcomers better understand local values, communication styles, and social expectations. When integration is smoother, communities blend more naturally, misunderstandings reduce, and harmony improves. At the same time, governments also have a responsibility to communicate clearly with their own citizens. The public should understand the real economic contribution migrants make. Migrants are not simply numbers in immigration statistics. They are students paying billions in tuition, workers filling essential roles, and families building their lives while contributing to the economy. If misinformation continues to spread and migrants continue to be portrayed as liabilities instead of assets, tensions can grow. And when tensions grow, hate crimes and discrimination can follow. By the time societies realize the consequences, it may already be too late. To the Indian community and other migrant communities facing discrimination, the message is simple. Stay united, stay dignified, and do not respond to hate with hate. Anger only deepens division. The strongest response to prejudice is success, resilience, and positive contribution. Communities grow stronger when they support one another, when they build bridges instead of walls, and when they engage constructively with the societies they now call home. At the end of the day, migration has always been a story of effort, adaptation, and shared growth. The goal should never be division, it should always be understanding, cooperation, and mutual respect.